The rain had been falling for hours, a constant whisper that felt almost intentional, like the sky itself was trying to drown out the sound of my thoughts. I stood under the rusted awning of the Greyhound station, holding Maya close to my chest. She was 6, too young to understand the weight pressing on my ribs, but old enough to sense the tension in the air every time I tightened my arms around her. Her small fingers curled into my jacket. Mama, why is it so cold? Because we no longer had a home. Because the door I once opened with a key was now locked from the inside. Because the life I had tried so hard to hold together had slipped through my fingers. But I didn't say any of that. I just stroked her wet hair and whispered, "It won't be cold for long, baby." I wasn't convincing. Even Maya heard the tremor in my voice. I had always been a quiet woman. Too quiet, people said. The type who swallowed her pain without letting it spill through her eyes. The type who endured until something inside finally cracked. Tonight, it cracked. The last words from Aunt Nadine, the woman who took me in after my mother died, still rang in my ears. You think you're some saint because you work and keep quiet? You're nothing but dead weight, Celeste, both of you. I can't feed you anymore. Get out. No tears, no hesitation. She shoved our bags onto the porch and slammed the door. And here we were, half soaked, half broken, standing in the dim light of the station with no money and nowhere to go. I looked down at Maya. Her lips were nearly purple. My chest tightened. I needed shelter. I needed warmth. But most of all, I needed answers, because taped inside Maya's backpack was something I hadn't told anyone about. Not even her. A key. Small, old, brass, carved with initials I didn't recognize. It was the last thing my mother pressed into my hand before the paramedics wheeled her away. Keep this safe, she whispered. It opens the door to the truth. I never understood what she meant. But as lightning split the sky, illuminating a figure watching us from across the terminal, a shiver went down my spine. Someone else did, and when the stranger stepped toward us, slow, purposeful, familiar, I realized my mother's secret wasn't buried. It was coming for me. He stood beneath the flickering street lamp, the light catching the edges of his navy blue coat. Tall, still, too still. People at bus stations move constantly, the restless, the tired, the hopeful. But he remained rooted, like he'd been waiting long before I arrived. My heartbeat stuttered. Mama? Maya's voice was small, muffled in my coat. Who is that man? I didn't know. But he knew me. He took a single step forward. Every instinct in my body tensed. My mother used to call it the tightening, that quiet, sharp pull, somewhere deep in the ribs that warned when danger was studying you too closely. I felt it now. He didn't rush. He didn't call my name. He simply closed the distance between us with a slow, intentional calm that made my hands turn cold. Celeste, he said when he was close enough for his voice to carry through the rain. A low voice, warm at the edges, but careful. I stiffened. No one at the station knew who I was. I never told him. My grip on Maya instinctively tightened. Do I know you? He gave a faint smile, sad almost. Not yet, but I knew your mother. The world seemed to tilt. My breath froze on my tongue. My mother? I whispered. He nodded. Rain slid off the brim of his hat. She wanted me to find you if anything happened to her, and it did. My shoulders locked. How? How did you know she died? Because I spoke to her that morning, he answered softly, hours before the paramedics came. The noise of the station faded into a dull hum. I felt Maya burrow deeper into my jacket, sensing the shift in the air. What did she tell you? I managed. He reached into his coat. My muscles tensed, ready to run, but all he pulled out was a folded piece of waterproof paper. He held it out without touching me. She asked me to give you this, and to protect you. The word dug under my skin like a hook. I didn't reach for the paper immediately. My hands were shaking, and I didn't want him to see. The man gently lowered his arm so the note was level with my chest. Why now? I whispered. Why wait? His eyes flickered. Regret, maybe. Fear, definitely. Because someone else has been looking for you, too. My breath caught. And whatever they want, he continued, lowering his voice so only I could hear, it's connected to that key. My pulse thundered painfully. Mama, Maya whispered, tugging my jacket. I'm scared. So was I, because I hadn't told a soul about the key. And yet he knew, and before I could unfold the note, a scream tore through the terminal, followed by the unmistakable echo of my name. The scream sliced through the damp night like a blade, shrill, trembling, desperate. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Even the buses idling in the distance seemed to fall silent. Then, through the echoing chaos, a voice rose again, raspy, breathless, unmistakably familiar. Celeste! My blood turned to ice. I hadn't heard that voice in months, not since the day my cousin Jada disappeared. My arms instinctively wrapped tighter around Maya. The man in the blue coat stepped forward, placing himself half a step in front of us, as if shielding us from whatever was approaching. Stay behind me, he murmured, low enough that only I could hear. But my eyes were locked on the far end of the station, where a shadow broke into a frantic stumble beneath the buzzing fluorescent lights. Jada. Her hair was soaked, her clothes torn, her legs wobbling like she'd run miles with no rest. But it was her eyes wide, frantic, full of terror that made my stomach twist. She darted toward me, slipping on the wet pavement, catching herself on a pillar before pushing forward again. Celeste, her voice cracked, run! Please, run! The man in the blue coat cursed under his breath, something sharp and foreign. His hand hovered near the inside of his coat, not threatening, but ready. Who's following her? He asked me without looking away from Jada. I shook my head, my throat tightening. I don't know. She vanished months ago. She didn't tell anyone where she went. Maya whimpered softly against my chest. I pressed a kiss to her forehead, trying to quiet the tremble in my own body. Jada finally reached us, collapsing to her knees in front of me, gripping my wrist with shaking fingers. Her voice dropped to a ragged whisper. They know you have it. My heart slammed painfully. Ah, what? Jada's eyes darted around, wild and terrified. The key, Celeste, those people, they're coming. They were watching our old house. They knew you'd end up here after Aunt Nadine threw you out. How did you? I've been trying to find you, she choked out, trying to warn you. Your mama, she didn't die the way they said. Celeste, listen to me. But before she could finish, the headlights of a car cut through the darkness, sweeping across the station like a searching spotlight. The man in the blue coat stiffened. They found us. Jada's grip tightened painfully. Celeste, please, don't let them take Maya. Whatever happens, don't let them near the child. My breath collapsed into my chest. What do they want with my daughter? Jada swallowed hard, tears mixing with rain. Because the key doesn't unlock a door, her voice cracked. It unlocks the truth about who Maya really is. And then the car doors slammed open, 3 figures stepping out, all looking straight at me. The car's headlights cut across the wet pavement like 2 white blades, slicing through the darkness and freezing the entire station into eerie stillness. 3 silhouettes stepped out, slow, deliberate, sure of themselves. Not lost, not confused. They came for us. The man in the blue coat shifted just enough for his shoulder to brush mine, the subtle move grounding me. He didn't take his eyes off the strangers. Celeste, he murmured, barely audible. Whatever you do, don't run yet. Running makes prey. My throat constricted. Jada clung to my wrist. Her breathing was ragged, her eyes filled with a terror that wasn't new. It was the kind of fear that had lived inside her for months. They followed me, she whispered. They followed me all the way from the river road. I tried to lose them, but the tallest of the 3 figures took another step forward. The lights hit his face. My stomach dropped. It was a face I recognized from a faded photograph tucked into a box of my mother's things. A man she once labeled only with a shaky pencil stroke. Don't trust him. He was older now, hair streaked with gray, but the eyes were the same, sharp, watchful, calculating. Eyes that memorized everything in a single glance. He lifted a hand, not in threat, but in eerie calm. Celeste, he called out, his voice smooth as wet gravel. We need to talk. Maya buried her face in my chest. Her small fists clenched the fabric of my jacket. I could feel her trembling through every layer of soaked clothing. The man in the blue coat stepped in front of us completely now, blocking the stranger's line of sight. When he spoke, his tone was cold steel. You've had your chance to stay away. A faint smirk tugged at the older man's mouth. You can't hide her forever, Noah. Noah! Noah. That was the first time I'd heard the man in the blue coat's name. Noah didn't react except for a slight twitch in his jaw, so slight I might have imagined it. You're trespassing, Noah said calmly. Trespassing, the older man repeated, amused. You forget who you're dealing with. Another figure stepped forward, the woman, blonde hair plastered to her cheeks from the rain, eyes too bright, too focused. She looked directly at me. Celeste, she said softly, you have something that belongs to us. Jada squeezed my hand desperately. Don't answer them. Don't even look at them. My voice barely came out. I don't know what you want. The woman smiled, and it wasn't kind. Oh, you will, when you learn the truth about your daughter. Maya whimpered. Noah moved, positioning himself like a shield. Leave her child out of this. The older man's eyes gleamed. Impossible. The child is the reason all of this began. My knees went weak, and then the older man said the sentence that shattered the little strength I had left. Celeste, Maya isn't who you think she is. For a moment, the rain itself seemed to pause, each drop suspended in the cold air, waiting for what would happen next. My mind couldn't hold the words. They slipped through, then slammed back with force. Maya isn't who you think she is. I felt something inside me twist painfully. My grip on Maya tightened until she whimpered. Don't listen to him, Jada whispered fiercely. They twist truths. Truths. That's what they do. But the older man stepped forward, his eyes fixed on Maya, the way someone studies a puzzle piece they've been searching for. The woman beside him never blinked. Noah angled his body to block their view, rain sliding down his coat like it avoided him. You have no right to involve the girl, Noah said, voice low, controlled, but edged with something dangerous. The older man lifted his head slightly, as though sizing Noah up. You're loyal, I'll give you that, but loyalty won't change the truth. I felt my heart hammering so violently, I worried it might bruise my ribs. What are you talking about? I forced out. Maya is my daughter. I gave birth to her. Did you? The blonde woman asked gently, almost pitying. My stomach dropped. I wanted to scream. I wanted to deny it. But her tone, subtle, steady, felt like she believed every word. No, Jada said sharply. Stop it. Stop lying to her. The older man's eyes flickered toward Jada. Jada Pierce. Still reckless. Still running errands that aren't yours to run. Jada's face drained of color. You know him? I whispered. She didn't answer. Her hand shook violently against mine. That was answer enough. The blonde woman softened her voice further, like she was speaking to someone fragile. Celeste, your mother never told you the truth about Maya, about what happened in the clinic 6 years ago. My breath caught painfully. My mother, the clinic, Maya's birth. The memories were blurry, like someone had pressed their fingers into the edges of that day and smudged it. I remembered pain, bright lights, the smell of antiseptic, but after that, it faded into a fog I never questioned, until now. Noah stepped closer to me, his presence steady. You don't say a word, he warned the strangers. Not here. The older man ignored him, eyes pinned to me. You were unconscious for nearly an hour after delivery, he murmured. You never saw the nurse take the child away. You never saw what she returned with. And your mother? Stop, Noah snapped, but the older man smiled faintly. Your mother knew the truth, and she died protecting it. Something in my chest broke open. Maya whimpered again. Mama, what's happening? I held her so tightly she trembled. Then the older man whispered the words that made my blood run cold. Celeste, Maya was never meant to be yours. My breath hitched, a sharp, painful sound that didn't even feel like it belonged to me. I wrapped both arms around Maya, as if holding her tighter could erase every word the strangers were trying to carve into my mind. She is mine, I snapped, the words trembling but fierce. I don't care what story you're trying to spin. The blonde woman tilted her head. Stories are what hide the truth. Your mother was very good at stories. A chill spread across my spine. Noah shifted closer, voice firm. That's enough. But they didn't stop. The older man took a slow step forward, his shoes splashing in the puddles, as if he were walking toward something inevitable. Celeste, he said, 6 years ago, you went into labor at a clinic off Harper Road, a clinic that, officially, doesn't exist. It's not registered. It has no staff on record, no medical license, no paper trail, nothing. My fingers twitched. That couldn't be true. It couldn't. I remember lights, I murmured. Machines, nurses, a doctor. Do you? He asked gently. Or do you remember what you were told to remember? My stomach lurched. The fog in my memories. Why was it there? Why did I never question it? It was a birthing emergency, I argued, my voice cracking. They took me in because the main hospital was full, I remember. No, the blonde woman interrupted softly. You remember what they implanted in your mind before they took the child away. My knees nearly gave out. Noah stepped in front of me again, tension radiating off him. She's not hearing another word from you. The older man's eyes hardened. She has to. Time's up. Jada clutched my arm. Celeste, don't listen. They're twisting everything. They always twist everything. But she wouldn't meet my eyes because she knew something she was terrified to say. The older man shifted his gaze to her. You never told her, did you? One? Even after everything? Shut up, Jada hissed, voice shaking. He ignored her. Celeste, he said softly, your mother hid you during the transfer. She broke protocol. She stole the wrong child. A ringing sound filled my ears, something between a scream and silence. Maya, I whispered. My baby, she is a child, he said, but the blood she carries, she was not meant to be raised outside our hands. My arms tightened protectively. Maya's breath hitched against my chest. Noah's hand moved slightly toward the inside of his coat again. The blonde woman noticed and smirked. Careful, Noah. We wouldn't want a repeat of last time. Noah didn't move, but the tension crackled around him like lightning. The older man looked past him straight at me. Whether you believe us or not, he said, that clinic was never a place for birthing children. A beat of silence. It was a place for creating them. The figure moved out of the shadows with slow, measured steps. The fluorescent lights flickered above him, cutting his face into brief pieces, cheekbone, jawline, the edge of an eye, before revealing him fully. My breath collapsed. Jada gasped. No, no, that can't be. Noah swore under his breath. And Maya, sensing the shift in the air, turned her face toward the man and whispered, Mama, who is he? I couldn't answer, because the man standing 10 feet away was someone I had buried, someone whose name still lived in my nightmares. Dr. Rowan Hale, the supposed head clinician from the night Maya was born. The man who had died in a lab fire 3 months after my delivery, but there he was, alive, older, hardened, but unmistakably him. The blonde woman stepped aside, almost proudly. We found him before he tried to run again. Dr. Hale didn't flinch. His eyes, flat, gray, unreadable, settled on me. Celeste, he murmured, voice low, almost gentle, you look just like your mother. My knees buckled. Noah's arm shot out to steady me. Don't go near her, he snapped. Dr. Hale ignored him, he snapped. Dr. Hale ignored him. You were never supposed to be involved in this, he continued, taking one step closer. Your mother made choices that forced my hand. Forced. Choices. Words that didn't fit together but somehow stabbed straight into the center of my chest. My mother? I whispered. What did she do? Dr. Hale's expression tightened, something like guilt flickering but dying quickly. She interfered with the program. My stomach twisted. Program. Stop talking, Noah warned, but Dr. Hale kept going. You see, Celeste, the clinic wasn't meant for women like you. It was for contracted surrogates, for engineered bloodlines, for Rowan. The older man's tone cut like ice. Enough. But Dr. Hale didn't stop. Maya was never meant to be placed with you. She was part of a genetic series, a sequence designed to... No, Noah's voice cracked like a whip. Don't you dare. The blonde woman stepped forward sharply. Rowan, silence. But Dr. Hale looked only at me. Celeste, your mother switched the children. She risked everything to save you from what Maya was designed for. Designed, switched, saved. The words slammed into me, each one its own wound. My chest tightened violently. Stop! Stop, please. Just tell me the truth. What was Maya designed for? Dr. Hale hesitated. For the first time, he looked afraid, and that terrified me more than anything. Before he could speak, a violent crash echoed behind us. Glass shattering, footsteps pounding. Noah's hand flew to his coat. Jada screamed, "They're breaching the station!" And Dr. Hale whispered, his voice shaking, "Celeste, they're not here to take you. They're here to activate her." And as the lights went out, plunging the entire station into darkness, Maya's small body suddenly went stiff in my arms like something inside her had just woken up. The station snapped into darkness so absolute it felt alive, thick, electric, swallowing the space around us in a single breath. People screamed somewhere in the distance. The hum of old fluorescent lights died. The rain outside became the only sound that still felt real. But the thing that froze my blood wasn't the darkness. It was Maya. Her small body, warm seconds ago, suddenly locked rigid in my arms, like every muscle seized at once. Her fingers curled unnaturally tight against my coat, her head tilted back just slightly, jaw trembling as if she were trying to speak but couldn't. "Maya, baby, look at me," I whispered, panic splintering through my voice. She didn't blink. She didn't even breathe for a moment too long. Then a soft, eerie glow flickered beneath her skin, faint, barely visible, but real. "No," Jada gasped behind me. "It's happening already, too soon." Noah moved instantly, a hand gripping my shoulder as if to keep me from bolting or collapsing. His voice was steady, but I felt a tremor in it. "Celeste, listen carefully. Hold her tightly. Do not put her down. Do not let her out of your arms." "What's happening to her?" I choked. The older man's voice slid through the darkness like a knife. "She's stabilizing. The activation sequence has started." "Shut up," Noah growled. But the blonde woman spoke next, too calm, too sure. "This is what she was created for. You've delayed it for 6 years, but you can't stop nature." "Nature?" The word scraped against my bones. Then Dr. Hale's voice, closer now, rough with regret. "I never wanted it to begin like this. She's too young. Her nervous system won't handle the surge. Celeste, you need to keep her warm, close, grounded. Or—" "Don't touch my daughter," I snapped, though I couldn't see where he stood. "She isn't just your daughter," the blonde woman shouted back. Lightning flashed through the station, illuminating all of them for a split second. Noah tense, ready to shield us. Jada crying silently, eyes wide, the strangers closing in, Dr. Hale haunted, and Maya glowing faintly against my chest. Then darkness swallowed us again. Maya's voice suddenly pierced it, a whisper, thin, monotone, not her own. "Mama, it hurts." Something inside me broke. Noah's hand found my back, grounding me. "We have to move, now." "But she's not okay. If we stay, she won't survive what they're trying to trigger." The older man's voice snapped across the dark. "Don't let them leave." Footsteps pounded, fast, multiple. Jada tugged my sleeve, voice trembling. "Celeste, the key use, the key. That's what your mother wanted. It stops the activation." My heart slammed painfully. "Stops it? How?" But she didn't answer because she didn't know. Behind us, something metallic clanged open. Footsteps rushed closer. Noah grabbed my hand. "Run. Now." And as I sprinted into the darkness with Maya in my arms, her small voice whispered again, this time not frightened, but eerily calm. "They're coming, Mama. They know where we're going." My boots splashed through water as we ran, the sound echoing like gunshots in the pitch-black station. The darkness clung to us, thick and suffocating, broken only by the faint glow pulsing under Maya's skin. I kept her pressed tightly to my chest, my breath shaking, my heart slamming against my ribs as if trying to break free. But her voice was the worst part, not afraid, not confused, calm. Too calm. "They're close, Mama," she whispered against my neck. "They're 10, no 9 steps behind us." A cold dread crawled up my spine. No one could see anything in this darkness, not even Noah. Yet Maya, she knew. "Baby," I whispered, stumbling as Noah pulled me forward. "How do you know that?" She blinked slowly, her eyes faintly reflecting a strange shimmer. "I can hear their feet. Inside, not here." She tapped her own temple with a stiff finger. I almost tripped. Noah didn't slow. Keep moving, Celeste. Use your left hand to feel the wall. But the wall was trembling. No, Aya was trembling. Behind us, voices cut through the dark. Search every exit. She's destabilizing. Move. They cannot leave the building. Noah muttered a curse under his breath. They're panicking. Noah muttered a curse under his breath. They're panicking. Good. Panic makes people stupid. Jada ran beside us, gasping. Celeste, Maya's sequence is activating her auditory cortex. She's processing space, distances, people. How do you can know that? I snapped. What aren't you telling me? Jada didn't look at me. Her silence answered more loudly than words. We reached a dead end. My heart plummeted. A locked maintenance door. Quo L. No, 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 my voice cracked. Noah grabbed the handle and yanked. Nothing, he hissed through his teeth. Jam from the other side. Try again, I begged. Please. But he wasn't looking at the handle. He was looking at Maya. Celeste, he said softly, put the key in her hand. My breath stopped. What? The key, your mother's key. Put it in Maya's hand. No, Jada cried. No yet, Gay. If you link them too early. They're already linked, Noah cut in. We don't have a choice. A roar of footsteps surged closer, too close. Maya lifted her glowing little hand toward me like she already knew. Mama, give it to me. Every instinct screamed no S. Every part of me that was a mother wanted to run the other direction, but the pounding footsteps closed in shadows almost upon us. With shaking fingers, I dug the brass key from the inside of my coat. Maya wrapped her small hand around it. The reaction was instant. A blast of light surged from her palm bright enough to stab through the darkness. The maintenance door groaned, then snapped open like it had been waiting for her touch. Noah shoved us inside. Move! I stumbled through, holding Maya tight. But as the door slammed behind us, sealing us into a narrow tunnel, Maya lifted her face to mine. Her irises were no longer brown. They were burning gold. And with a voice far older than 6 years, she whispered into my ear, Mama, I remember something. The narrow maintenance tunnel stretched ahead like a throat-tight, metallic, echoing every breath we took. The only light came from Maya's golden eyes and the faint glow still humming beneath her skin. It wasn't bright enough to comfort. It was bright enough to terrify. I held her close, feeling the unnatural warmth radiating from her little body. She wasn't shaking. I was. What do you remember, sweetheart? I whispered, trying to keep my voice steady. Maya blinked slowly, almost mechanically. A room, she murmured. White, cold, lots of voices. None of them sound like you, Mama. My stomach twisted so sharply I almost doubled over. Jada stumbled beside me. Celeste, she's recalling imprint sessions. They must have embedded. Don't say another word, Noah snapped, moving ahead of us, sweeping his hand along the tunnel wall. She's remembering because they triggered her sequence. This isn't stable recall. It's dangerous. Dangerous. My baby girl, my gentle, quiet, soft-spoken child was glowing like something born of electricity and light, and they said she wasn't mine. Noah stopped abruptly, blocking our path with his arm. Stay close, he murmured. This tunnel might not be empty. Jada's breath hitched. You think they followed us down here? I think, Noah said grimly. They're not the only ones looking for Maya. Maya lifted her head. Someone's ahead. All three of us stared at her. What do you mean? I whispered. She pointed a small, glowing finger forward. He's waiting. A man. He's scared. How do you know he's scared? Jada asked, trembling. Maya tapped her forehead again. He's thinking loud. A cold shiver ripped down my spine. Before we could ask anything else, a faint metallic sound echoed from deeper in the tunnel. A dragged breath, a cough, a body shifting. Noah motioned for silence and stepped ahead. The tunnel widened slightly, revealing a hunched figure leaning against the wall covered in blood, clutching his side. Noah's voice softened. Sir, don't move. We're not going to hurt you. The man looked up weakly, and recognition slammed through me like a blow. I knew that face from a picture my mother kept hidden in a weathered envelope. A face she'd once looked at with fear and love tangled together. Celeste, he rasped. My knees nearly buckled. No, no, you're dead. My mother said you were dead. He coughed and blood dripped from his mouth. No, they just needed you to believe that. He lifted trembling fingers toward Maya and his voice cracked. She has my eyes, doesn't she? The world froze. Jada gasped. Noah swore. The world froze. My brain couldn't hold the moment. It cracked apart, spilling panic everywhere. The man took a shallow breath. I'm not just someone they created, Celeste. I'm Maya's real father. And if they reach her first, he whispered, collapsing forward, they'll use her to finish what they started, with me. The tunnel's metallic air turned suffocating, pressing against my ribs as if the walls themselves were closing in. My heartbeat roared in my ears. I stared at the bleeding man on the floor, his face pale, his breath shallow, his eyes burning with a painful familiarity. Maya's eyes, those glowing, unnatural gold eyes reflected in his. He was telling the truth. Some part of me recognized it before my mind did. No, I whispered. My mother said you died before Maya was born, she said. She lied, he rasped. To protect you, to protect her. Noah knelt beside him, jaw clenched. You shouldn't be alive. They terminated the entire sequence when you escaped. Escaped, the man repeated, his tone bitter. I didn't escape. I was discarded. His tone bitter. I didn't escape. I was discarded. An early prototype they abandoned when they decided the program needed. His gaze drifted to Maya again. A more stable design. Maya shifted in my arms, her little hand tightening around the brass key. Daddy, she whispered, voice trembling between her own and something older. My breath fractured. He gave a broken laugh, one that ended in a cough of blood. I never thought I'd hear her call me that. I sank to my knees, unable to stay standing. If you're her father, how? How was she even? He swallowed painfully. Your mother pulled you into something she didn't fully understand. When she found the truth about the clinic, she tried to rescue me. She failed. His eyes darkened with grief. So she saved the next best thing. Maya. She switched the children, he said. Move Maya out of the system before the others realized the sequence was viable. Jada covered her mouth, tears running silently. Noah exhaled sharply. They'll kill us if they find out you're alive. They already know, he whispered. They were chasing me when I came down here. I tried to get to you, Celeste, to warn you that if Maya activates fully before her neural pathways stabilize. Daddy, Maya interrupted softly, they're coming. Her golden eyes unfocused slightly, as if seeing through the walls, through the dark, through everything. How many? Noah asked. The cold one. The inhibitor, Jada whispered. If they inject her, her brain could. Don't say it, I snapped. She's not a project, she's a child. The man grabbed Noah's collar weakly. Listen to me, get her out. There's a door at the end of the tunnel. Input the sequence on the panel. The key will work, it's her failsafe. I leaned closer. What's the sequence? His breath rattled. 6, 1, 0, another breath, a shudder. Activate the door and follow the water. The water? Noah pressed. Where does it lead? To the truth, he whispered. Then his head fell forward. Maya's glow dimmed slightly. No, I choked. No, stay with us, please. But he was gone. And before I could reach for him again, Maya tugged my sleeve, her voice trembling. Mama, they're right outside the tunnel. Maya's small fingers clutched my sleeve. Her golden eyes, still glowing faintly, shifted toward the tunnel's entrance. They're here, she whispered. 4 in front, more behind. They're spreading out. My breath hitched. My arms tightened protectively around her. Noah stood instantly, every muscle in his body coiled with sharp, silent tension. We don't have time. We move now. Jada knelt beside the lifeless body of Maya's father, her shoulders shaking. We can't just leave him. We have no choice, Noah said, voice low but urgent. If they take Maya, he died for nothing. The truth of that sentence cut through the grief. Jada wiped her face and forced herself to stand. Noah pointed down the tunnel. The control panel is 50 feet ahead. Celeste, keep Maya close. Do not put her down. I nodded, clutching my daughter so tightly she let out a small squeak, but buried her face against my shoulder instead of complaining. Every step felt like walking deeper into a nightmare. The tunnel vibrated faintly with approaching footsteps, echoing through the metal walls like the pounding of a second heartbeat. When we reached the panel, Noah wiped dust and rust from it with the side of his sleeve. Beneath the grime, a small keypad flickered weakly, its light almost dead. 610, I whispered, the numbers her father had given us. Noah punched them in quickly. The keypad buzzed. A slot opened beneath it, shaped exactly for a small brass key. Maya lifted her glowing hand before I even moved. Mama, let me! Fear stabbed through me. No, baby, it might hurt you. It won't, she said softly. It's mine. Before I could stop her, she pressed the key into the slot. There was a sound, something like a low hum mixed with a pulse. The metal beneath her hand heated, glowing faintly to match the color in her skin. Then, funk! The entire tunnel shuddered as a massive steel door slid upward, revealing a hidden passageway beyond. Cool air rushed out, carrying the smell of wet stone and something older, something untouched for years. A faint rushing sound emanated from the darkness. Water. Follow the water, Noah murmured. This is it. But we didn't move. Because behind us, a metallic clang echoed up the tunnel. Then another. Jada paled. They're using hydraulic cutters. Noah swore. Move! I held Maya and stepped into the dark passage, but she stiffened suddenly in my arms. Mama, her voice had changed again. Thin, distant, layered with something that wasn't a child's voice at all. They're not coming to take me. She lifted her glowing eyes toward me. They're coming to activate me. And then, from deep in the hidden passageway ahead, another voice echoed out, soft, trembling, and unmistakably familiar. Celeste, is that you? The hidden passage swallowed us whole, its stone walls cold and slick beneath the faint glow coming from Maya's skin. The roar of water echoed from somewhere far ahead, an underground river maybe. But that wasn't what made my knees weaken. It was the voice, soft, shaking, impossible. Celeste, is that you? I froze so suddenly, Noah nearly collided with me. My fingers tightened reflexively around Maya. Jada's breath hitched. No, no, it can't be. My throat closed around her name before it left my lips. Aunt Nadine? Jada's eyes widened in horror. She threw you out. Why would she? Because she was protecting herself, Noah muttered darkly, or she was protecting something else. We moved slowly toward the opening where the voice had come from, me. The hum of water grew louder, mixed with the faint metallic buzz of old machinery. When the tunnel widened, revealing a cavernous space, I stopped breathing. Aunt Nadine was there, but not standing, not free. She was strapped to a rusted medical chair, wrists restrained in metal cuffs, wires attached to her temples. Her clothes were damp, her hair tangled, her eyes wild with fear, yet relief washed over her face the instant she saw me. Oh, thank God, she sobbed. Celeste, please, please untie me. They said they'd bring you here. They said you'd come. Noah raised a hand sharply. Don't touch her. What? I snapped. She's my aunt. She's trapped. Look at the cuffs, Noah said quietly. I looked. Then everything in me turned to ice. The metal wasn't locking her down. It was infused with faint, glowing circuitry, a monitoring system, a containment device, something designed not to restrain but to record, and there, on the chair's base, was a symbol I recognized from the brass key. My stomach twisted. You're part of this? Nadine shook her head violently. No, no, I tried to protect you. I tried. When your mother died, they came for Maya. I refused to give her up. I hid you both. But they caught me. Maya looked at her with glowing eyes that made Nadine flinch. They hurt you, Maya whispered. Tears streaked down Nadine's face. They wanted to know where the key was, where you were. I never told them, not once. Footsteps clanged in the corridor behind us. Closer, louder. Noah pulled his gun. We're out of time, Nadine's voice broke. Celeste, they want Maya because she's the final sequence. They need her to activate the source. The what? Jada breathed. Nadine looked directly at me, fear mixing with guilt. The source, she whispered, is the original child your mother tried to save, the one she couldn't. The ground shook violently. Dust rained down from the cavern ceiling. Maya clutched my neck suddenly, her little body trembling. Mama, she whispered, eyes flashing gold. He's waking up. My blood froze. And then, from the darkness behind Aunt Nadine, a pair of golden eyes, identical to Maya's, blinked open. For a long, terrible moment, no one breathed. Those golden eyes, bright, ancient, eerily calm, blinked again from the shadows behind Aunt Nadine's restraint chair. The faint glow expanded, outlining a small face. A child, a boy, no older than Maya. But his presence felt heavier, like the air bent around him. Maya whimpered and burrowed against my neck. The pulse of light beneath her skin flickered in response, like she was syncing with something, someone she had never met. Jada stumbled backward. Oh my God, that's him, the original. Noah raised his gun, voice sharp. Nobody move. Aunt Nadine sobbed harder, shaking in her restraints. Celeste, I didn't know they kept him alive. They told your mother he died during the trial run. She tried to save him. She tried. The boy stepped forward, bare feet silent on the stone floor, his eyes fixed on Maya. Not curious, not frightened. Recognizing. Maya, he said softly. My heart lurched. His voice carried a strange duality, high like a child, but layered with something deeper, older, something that made my skin crawl. Maya lifted her head, her golden eyes brightening. I know you. How? I whispered. How could she possibly? They're linked, Jada said, voice trembling. He was the first successful sequence. Maya is the second. They weren't just designed. They were connected. The boy stopped a few feet away, his gaze glowing, unblinking, shifted to me. You're the mother, he said. I tightened my grip on Maya. Yes, and you stay right there. He blinked slowly. You stay right there. She was never meant to be yours. His words stabbed through me like ice. She is mine. Maya reached a hand toward him, eyes wide and shimmering. I remember you. You were in the White Room. They talked about you. They said you were broken. Something flickered across his expression. Pain? Shame? Anger? I couldn't tell. They replaced me with you, he said, voice cracking for the first time. Harsh. But I wasn't broken. I was different. Stronger. The cavern trembled, dust drifting down like ash. Noah stepped between us. Celeste, move back. This place is reacting to him. He's destabilizing the chamber. He's a child, I cried. He's a catalyst, Noah shot back. And if he triggers a full activation, everyone in this cavern will die. The boy's eyes flashed brighter. I don't want to hurt you. I just want her. He reached toward Maya. I stepped back instantly. No, Maya's glow intensified, matching his. The air hummed around us. They're synchronizing, Jada whispered, terrified. If it completes, if they merge, a metallic crash exploded at the tunnel entrance. The blonde woman's voice rang out, Stop them! The source is waking. Contain the girl. Armed figures poured into the cavern. The boy straightened, eyes shifting from Maya to the intruders. They shouldn't have come, he murmured. The ground cracked under his feet, and as the cavern began to collapse, the boy lifted a shaking hand, and every armed intruder froze mid-step, suspended like puppets on invisible strings. Time didn't slow, it stopped. The armed intruders hung mid-stride, suspended in the air like marionettes whose strings had been yanked taut. Their eyes bulged with terror, bodies trembling against an unseen force they couldn't control. And at the center of it all, the boy. His small hand was lifted, glowing brighter and brighter, veins in his wrist pulsing with golden light that matched Maya's own. The air around him warped, vibrating with energy that made the hair on my arms stand up. No, Noah breathed. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Jada stumbled backward, shielding her face. He's overloading. If he collapses, the whole cavern will cave in. Aunt Nadine screamed from her restraints, voice cracking. Celeste, get Maya away from him. Are you? She wriggled in my arms, reaching for the boy with trembling fingers. He's scared, Mama. He's dangerous, I whispered, clutching her tighter. Baby, we need to go. No, she said softly. He's hurting. The boy's glow intensified, his face scrunching in pain, tears sliding down his cheeks in shimmering streaks. He wasn't attacking the intruders. He was losing control. Please, he whimpered, voice breaking. Make it stop. I don't want to be this. I don't want them in my head. My heart twisted. He wasn't a monster. He was a child drowning in something he never asked for. The cavern trembled harder, bits of rock cracking loose and plummeting around us. Noah grabbed my arm. Celeste, we have seconds before this place collapses. Move! But Maya pushed against me, desperate. Mama, put me down. I can help him. No, I cried, gripping her tight. Her golden eyes lifted to mine, clear, pleading, ancient and young at once. I'm like him, she whispered. I know how to make it quieter, like you do when I'm scared. The boy's scream ripped through the cavern, a sound of agony, of power, of a child imploding under the weight of something too big for a human heart. Maya twisted again. Please, Mama, let me help, Noah yelled. If they synchronize completely, she'll go critical too. But the boy's knees buckled, his glow dimming, flickering violently. He wasn't trying to hurt anyone. He was dying under the pressure of his own design. And Maya, my Maya, reached one tiny hand toward him through the trembling air. It's okay, she whispered. I'll make it quiet. My heart broke open. Go, I whispered, setting her down gently. Maya stepped toward the boy, light meeting light, glow meeting glow, like two stars pulling into the same orbit. As her small fingers touched his hand, the entire cavern exploded in blinding gold. A soundless blast, a pulse that shook the air. Then, stillness. The intruders dropped to the floor. The cavern stopped trembling. The boy's sobs quieted, and Maya's knees buckled. No! I screamed, rushing toward her collapsing form. As I reached her, her golden eyes fluttered open, dim, weak, and she whispered a name I didn't recognize. Orion, he's awake. Oh! Maya's whisper echoed through the cavern, soft, trembling, ancient. Orion, he's awake. The name felt foreign on her lips, but the moment she said it, the boy. The source lifted his head, his golden eyes, dim now but steady, widened in recognition. That's my name. Maya swayed, exhaustion pulling her small shoulders down. I caught her, pulling her against my chest. Her glow faded until she felt like just my child again, warm, breathing, fragile, human. Orion watched her with an expression I couldn't read, half brotherly, half reverent, half afraid. You quieted the noise, he whispered. No one ever did that for me. Maya gave him a tired, small smile. Mama taught me. His gaze shifted to me, softening, questioning. You won't let them take her, right? I swallowed hard. Not her, not you, not ever. The cavern groaned again, stones cracking, dust drifting down like snow. Noah called out from near the tunnel entrance, We need to move. This place is collapsing for real now. Jada hurried to free Aunt Nadine from the glowing restraints. The circuits sparked as they powered down, and Nadine fell into her arms, sobbing. Celeste, Nadine cried, gripping my arm. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know they kept him. I didn't know they'd ever find Maya again. Your mother, she died trying to keep them apart. I know, I whispered, though tears blurred my vision. We're finishing what she started. Noah motioned toward an exit tunnel where water rushed like a river. That path leads out, a drainage channel. Move! He grabbed Orion's arm gently, but the boy flinched, unused to being touched with anything but fear. Maya reached out and took his hand instead. It's okay, she said, and somehow it was. We ran through the tight stone passage, over jagged rocks, toward the sound of water roaring louder and louder. Behind us, the cavern gave one final shudder, collapsing under the weight of its own secrets. When we burst out into the night, cold river spray hit my face like a slap. The moon hung low over the rushing water, silver and quiet like it had been waiting for us. We splashed into the shallows, climbing up the opposite bank. Only when solid ground held beneath us did I finally turn to look at Maya and Orion. They stood side by side, two small children bound by something far bigger than blood. Maya looked up at me. Mama, what happens now? I knelt, pulling both of them close. Now, I said, we stay hidden. We stay safe. We stay together. Orion's voice trembled. They'll come for us. No, Noah said behind me, stepping forward with a determined calm. They'll come for all of us, and we'll be ready. Jada nodded. Nadine clutched my hand. The night wind howled like a warning and a promise. I held Maya tighter. Whatever came next, whatever storms or secrets waited in the shadows, we would face them, not as subjects, not as experiments, not as broken pieces of someone else's design, but as a family forged in truth. The Eam. Did you like the story? Which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you enjoyed the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep creating more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. There's a lot more waiting for you on my channel. Tales by Aunt Emery. Don't forget to subscribe.